6 Premier League games, and it is the first 0-0 of the Premier League weekend that of course began with a 1-1 draw at Craven Cottage on Friday night between Fulham and Wolves. Everton beaten for the second time under Sean Dyche today at home by Aston Villa by 2-0. A huge win for Leeds in Javi Gracia's first game in charge. The Spaniard at Ellen Road beating the bottom club Southampton 1-0. The leaders did that as well. Arsenal responding once again 1-0 away at Leicester City. West Ham United needed 3 points and they got them with a 4-0 win at home to Nottingham Forest. 4-2 for Manchester City at Bournemouth, and no goals, as we've just brought you, between Palace and Liverpool. One game on Sunday, but it's a huge one. The London derby between Spurs and Chelsea, which is a 1:30 kickoff UK time. And the Premier League a week extends into Wednesday. 2 rearranged fixtures. The leaders Arsenal welcome Everton, and Liverpool are back in action at Anfield as they welcome Wolves. So the top 2 both winning today. Arsenal 57 points lead Manchester City by 2. Arsenal have played a game less. Manchester United, of course, not in Premier League action this weekend because they play 5th place Newcastle United in the League Cup final on Sunday at Wembley. That's when Spurs welcome Chelsea. Liverpool missing that opportunity, as I say, to close the gap on the top 4 to 4 points. They are 6 behind Spurs, having played a game less. All change at the bottom today. Palace, incidentally, with that point, are still 6 clear of the drop zone. The Saints are still bottom, 4 from safety. Bournemouth second bottom, having been beaten by Manchester City. Everton drop into the drop zone on 21 points after that defeat by Aston Villa. Leeds out of it. They're a point above the bottom 3 now after that win against Southampton. And the cushion for West Ham, 2 points after that 4-0 victory against Nottingham Forest.
At the end of a difficult week, what do we make of that Liverpool performance?
Yeah, I think obviously we'd like a better performance than 3 points, but we didn't get that tonight. I think obviously from the plus side, it was a clean sheet away from home, which we haven't had enough of those this season. So, the desire was there, the fight was there, the creativity probably wasn't enough, although we did have chances to win the game. Free kick, hit the post, Cody had a chance as well, and maybe a couple of others. I think we hit the bar as well, didn't we? So, we've created enough to win the game, but it wasn't as fluid a performance as you would like, but you don't always get that way from home, and especially coming here, that they're a difficult team to play against. They've got a lot of good individuals as well who make it difficult for you.
Was it the performance of a team still reeling and recovering a little bit from Tuesday, or does that play no part?
No, I think, to be fair to the boys, we had to move on as quick as possible, and we tried to do that. Like I say, we've come here, and you saw the desire and the grit and the determination. I think if the midweek performance had affected today, we'd have conceded a goal. I think you saw how the boys were defending, especially late on the set pieces, and the desire to keep that clean sheet. So I don't think it affected it. It wasn't, one of the best performances we've ever put in, but, away from home, coming to a place like this, it's never that easy, and we have done enough to win the game and kept the clean sheet, which is what you always want to do away from home.
The manager said the other day, there are good things, but it's not stable. Did it feel a little bit like that? It was almost like this starts to both halves and then a bit of sloppiness and you lose your way a little bit in the game?
Yeah, I think obviously we haven't been playing our best football, this season, and when that confidence drops slightly, and I think small things that go against you in the game, hitting the bar instead of it going in, or little misplaced passes, that probably hurts you more than it would if you're flying, and it affects you a bit more, and that's something that we have to try and improve. And you saw midweek as well, again, little things that go against us, or we're not really shrugging them off as well as we should do. But that comes when things aren't going as well as you'd like, but that's what we have to stick at. We have to stick together, we have to keep working hard, and like I say, it's pleasing to come and get a clean sheet. That is a big thing, and if we can keep doing that and be difficult to beat and keep clean sheets, we have the players to score the goals, and hopefully we get that bit more luck in front of goal.
How do you do those things you're talking about? How do you basically rally the troops and dig something out of this season, which has obviously been tough for you?
We have to keep going, that's what we're here to do, and we're our harshest critics as well, and like I say, we're getting down on ourselves when things aren't going our way, and it's important that we don't listen to the noise outside. We know, like everyone else will think exactly the same, and it's down to us. We're the only ones that can change that, and I think the levels we've set over the last few seasons, it's been obviously high, and we have to try and match those, and obviously we've fallen short this year, but it's down to us to step by step get back to where we have been before, and that takes time, and it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of grit and determination and mental strength, and that's what we have to dig down to.
How hard is it to shut out the noise when you play for a club as big as Liverpool?
It shouldn't be too hard, I suppose, because the most important thing that matters is what's said inside the dressing room, what we think, and it's always been that way when we've been flying in the past and people have been saying good things. It was important not to get too high, and now's the time things aren't going so well. It's important to not get too low. We have to keep pushing and take every day as it comes, and like you say, the amount of games we've got, you can't dwell on past results and past performances. We have to go again midweek and 3 days after that, and it's always been the same on to the next one, whether you're winning or losing, and that's important, that we have to keep pushing and keep trying to find our best form.
Mark, well played. Happy with that, or feel like there was even more in that game for you?
I think the team did well. I think it was a performance that we could be proud of. Liverpool always a tough side to play against. A little bit of disappointment just because we felt like we could have nicked it at some point in the game. But I think all in all, it's a good performance.
Do you think in both halves you grew into the game?
Yeah, I think, when you play a team like that, I think it's important to start well in games. I think we did that today.
Start solid.
Yeah, we had a good opportunity, in the first half as well. I think a couple, my header, JP's strike, and then I think it carried on in the second half. So I think as long as we can build on this performance, I think it's a good thing.
You want to tell us about the header? It was a good opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a good I think I was a bit put off by Jeff a little bit.
Let's blame Jeff, yeah.
No, I'm not going to blame him completely. My head, I think I should probably do a bit better. But yeah, it is what it is.
In terms of Liverpool going forward, do you feel like you controlled them reasonably well, actually, considering the talent on show?
Yeah, I think in parts of the game we showed, good composure to stay on the ball. I think in previous games, we've lacked that sometimes. But I think today we managed the game a little bit. It was a bit frantic at times, but I think in the right moments we did control the possession and allowed us to move forward with the ball.
So in terms of performance, did it feel like a decent step forward, actually?
I mean, when you play a team like Liverpool, regardless of what form they're in, I think it's always positive to get at least a point, and I think today in front of the home fans, like I said, we could have nicked it. But, it's important that we build on this. I think that's the most important thing.
Just another point. What happened at the end? Why did it all get a bit rowdy?
We wanted another corner. We wanted another opportunity to try and score.
Sorry, I missed it.
I don't know. I think it was time, but, if he clears it out for another corner like that, I think it's important that we at least try and get another opportunity.
So how do you feel about the form in general at the moment? Obviously, it's a bit of a run without a win, but performances like tonight against decent teams suggest you're in a lot better shape than 8 without a win.
Absolutely, I think you're right. I don't know. I feel like sometimes we feel like we could do a little bit better. But the Premier League's a tough league. Every team you come up against is really tough, and they make it difficult for you in each game. I think we're steady at the moment. But I'll reiterate what I say. I think it's important that we build on this performance.
Maybe just a couple of lads up top, good players who just need a goal, a bit short of confidence maybe.
It'll come. The boys are working extremely hard, but I've got no worries. It'll come.
Well played.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, no secret where their problem is. If they had more of a goal threat, where could Palace be in this league, Jermaine?
They certainly need goals. I do think it's a performance they can build on. I thought throughout the game they had spells where they gained some sort of control of the game. Passing patterns you can see. At times it was frantic. But I think being at home, they have to play for an intensity. They have to press high and try and create chances. But then when you create the chances, you have to take the chances. And today you see the chances that they've had. They've had some top chances, especially early on in the first half. And you look at the table, they could have been a completely different spot in the table. But it's something they're going to have to do, to try and, like I keep mentioning, be more ruthless in front of goal, because it's definitely a problem.
Because they didn't have an attempt on target. That's the third time that's happened this season, more than any other team in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's strange because they've got some talented players as well going forward. Eze and obviously Zaha that wasn't playing today, but lots and lots of talented players. Elisa, yeah. But they just don't seem to score goals. But they did look like a team. They looked solid. They will be looking over their shoulder and just worrying that they're not totally safe and that other teams below them are picking up points. But I don't see them as a team in disarray or anything else like that. We just saw the last few games, the last few results. It's been a really tough run that they've been on. They've only been beaten by some of the heavyweights of the division, and they've got some good draws, including tonight. So things are, the difference between a couple of those draws just turning green and just being, 3 points instead of 1 is obviously massive to your end tally. But I don't watch Crystal Palace and fear for them at all, and I think they're probably building something quite nice. But quite obviously, they need to do something that is the hardest thing in football, and that's to find a striker who can score goals.
Yeah, that's why you two were the highly paid players in your dressing room. So 312 Premier League goals between you. Jean-Philippe Mateta in the first half. What should he have done better here to finish this opportunity?
It actually gets worse when you watch it because, it gets worse because if you look at the goalkeeper's position, it's actually an open goal, man.
Yeah, he's gone to take the ball, hasn't he, almost to clear it, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold loses it. And have a look at this one. About to strike it. I mean, he's totally out of goal. It's an open goal. Really.
The pace is on the pass. So for me, I just feel like it's an open goal, like you said, but just direct it in goal into the net. I can't understand why he's hit it so hard. If he's further out, then fair enough in that. But it's come back to him. Just direct it in the goal. Have that awareness where the goalkeeper is and pass into the goal.
Yeah, these tiny little things with goal scoring are so important. Jermaine's right. The harder you hit it, the higher the ball goes normally. So when your goalkeeper's out, the one thing you're doing is just trying to, you take out different variables. So you take out the high one, so you don't smack it as hard as you can. Yeah. You're not gaining anything by bursting the net from 4 yards. You need to burst the net when you're 24 yards out. So little things like that, that's just a feel, that's just a practice, that's just something that you learn as kids when you're in front of goal all the time, choosing the wrong thing. And don't get me wrong, that could have hit the back of the net, but it still would have been the wrong choice. I mean, smacking it like that, he probably scores 2 out of 10, but if you just take the pace off it, you score 4 out of 10. And instead of being an average centre-forward, you're now a decent centre-forward. And it's these little tiny details when you're scoring goals, the choices that you make. And Jermaine's right, hit it